Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at Genesect V, and I'm just telling you now, right off the bat, Genesect V is absolutely ridiculously broken if you're playing Fusion Pokemon. If you're not playing Fusion Pokemon, don't worry your pretty little head about it. But if you are playing Fusion Pokemon, Genesect V is absolutely ridiculously flat out nuts. Incidentally, we've seen this before with Japanese reveals. If Genesect was getting a VMAX, it would have been revealed today as well. It wasn't, which means don't worry about it. There is not going to be a Genesect VMAX, just Genesect V. But Genesect V is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So we've got 190 HP, which is low, but this is very much in the same vein as Pokemon like Crobat and Kricketune, who only actually have 180, so, you know, in their faces, it's not that bad. We've got a retreat cost of 2, which is not ideal, but Air Balloon will give you free retreat, so that's alright. Could be an awful lot worse. We've got a resistance to grass, which is expected from metal Pokemon, but not unwelcome. And we've got ourselves a weakness to fire, which again is expected. But with Welder rotating out soon, fire Pokemon really just are not as good as they have been. The only one to really be scared about is Victini, but because you don't have a VMAX, Victini's going to get a one-hit KO regardless of weakness. So just chill, you're fine. But you are a metal Pokemon, which means you get to hit weakness on stuff like Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX, which is absolutely relevant. And it means that you get to use stuff like Metal Saucer to accelerate energy, and Bronzong to move energy around, which is, again, absolutely brilliant. So make no mistake about it, this is a really, really good time to come along and play around as a metal Pokemon, which makes me pretty gosh darned happy indeed. But I keep telling you how this is an amazing card. Why is it so amazing? Well, it's got the ability Fusion System. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have as many cards in hand as you have Fusion Pokemon in play. Oh, 2 quick notes. I should say our translation comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet. Hey, Antoine. We love Antoine. And we're also going to be talking about Dragapult in this video because it's super relevant. I love Dragapult with this together. So much fun. So what we've got here is essentially a draw engine. But there are 2 things that we need to really make clear about this card. Number 1, it lets you draw until you have as many cards in hand as you have Fusion Pokemon in play. Which means if you go full Fusion, that is drawing until you got 6 cards in hand every turn. That is Crobat V as an every turn ability. You put one of these on your bench, and it is the equivalent of Crobat, but every turn. And you might be going, yeah, well, you know, it's going to be limited to once during your turn, regardless of how many Genesects you've got. No! No, it's not, ladies and gentlemen. It is not limited to once during your turn. Which means not only is it a static every turn Crobat, it is a stackable static every turn Crobat. I can have 4 of these on my bench, and I can draw until I got 6 cards in my hand, play a bunch, draw until I got 6, play a bunch, draw until I got 6, play a bunch, draw until I've got 6. I hope I did that 4 times. That is ridiculous. That is a draw engine the likes of which we do not have in the game right now. We just don't. We do not have this level of draw in the game. We can compare this to Kricketune. Kricketune lets you draw until you got 3 cards in your hand, which goes up to 4 in hand if you are in the active position. And it is specifically limited to 1 exciting stage ability per turn. This is not limited, and it is better. This is double the ability of Kricketune, not limited to once during your turn. It is Crobat every turn, but not limited to once during your turn. Fusion Pokemon have the best draw in the game right now. There is no better draw. And again, if you think I'm wrong about this, go and argue with me in the comment section. But I spend an awful lot of time looking at this game, and I've been thinking about this since I saw this morning. We knew this drop was coming, not specifically which cards, but we knew Fusion Pokemon were coming. So I checked my phone the second I woke up, and I saw this Genesect, and I was like, I don't think we've got anything better than that. This is significantly better than Crobat. And Crobat's one of the very best cards in the game right now. But it's limited to fusion Pokemon. This only works in a fusion deck. This is a full-on fusion deck. But that is absolutely fine by me, ladies and gentlemen. This is... I'm not going to keep talking about it because I think I've made my point. If you're playing a fusion deck, this is the best draw engine in the game, and it's not particularly close. If you're not playing a fusion deck, then obviously you can't play this. This makes me want to play nothing but fusion Pokemon until they rotate out, because this level of consistency is just joyous. And what's super weird is you've actually got a good attack here. Like, these support Pokemon aren't supposed to have good attacks. This has a good attack. Free energy, 210, and you can't attack next turn. Okay, fine. To be fair, right, you've got Metal Saucer, you've got Bronzong, so getting the energy on there isn't that difficult. And 210 gets a lot of Pokemon V. If you do an extra 10 damage and Vitality Band will put you up to that magic 220, that is the vast majority of Pokemon in the game. Well, Pokemon V anyway. And single prize Pokemon. Basically, unless you're a VMAX, you're probably getting KO'd by this. And because you've got Bronzong, what you can do is you can have an Air Balloon on Genesect, and you hit for 210, you can't attack next turn, retreat for free, Bronzong the energy to a new Genesect, and keep going. Obviously, you cannot have an Air Balloon and a Vitality Band on Genesect at the same time. You could if it was Genesect GX, because remember, that does allow you to have two tools attached, which I find kind of funny. But unfortunately, that is not this Genesect. But this is a legit attack. This is a genuinely useful, viable attack. And with a draw engine which is absolutely flat out broken. Again, this is not draw until you've got 6 cards in your hand. It is draw until you have as many cards in hand as you have fusion Pokemon in play. But if you're playing fusion decks, you will want a full bench. And you will want at least, I would say, 2 or 3 Genesect on the bench. Because it's not like you've got to save bench space for a Crobat anymore. Yeah. Goodness, I love this. So why am I just throwing Dragapult into the same video as Genesect? Isn't that a little bit awkward? No. No, it's not. Now, first of all, the Dragapult has amazing artwork, and the other cards aren't particularly great, but I don't really care because, goodness gracious, look at the artwork on this trio of cards. It's phenomenal, but this Dragapult's really good. Now, 150 HP is kind of low for a Stage 2, that's sad, but you do have Free Retreat. Free Retreat is awesome. Resistance to Fighting is nice. Weakness to Darkness isn't great, because we do have Darkness decks around at the moment, but then again, you got 150 HP, so you're not that bulky. But you are hitting weakness on Psychic Weak Pokemon. Urshifu would be a pretty good example here. That's quite nice. And you have a phenomenal attack. Now, it's not the second attack. 2 energy, 120. You should never use this. That second attack should be absolutely never used. It's basically garbage. But single energy, 1 energy, this attack does 30 damage for each of your fusion Pokemon in play. So if you've got 6 fusion Pokemon in play, and you should, 180 damage. 180 damage for a single energy. And here's the thing. Whenever I see attacks like this, my first thought is, do I have a draw engine? So if we look at something like Eternatus, that is a Darkness-type Pokemon, and the ability says you can only play Darkness-type Pokemon, but you can then have 8 bench Pokemon, and you do 30 damage for each Darkness-type Pokemon in play. Yes, I know Eternatus' attack is just better than Dragapult's, but Eternatus gives up 3 prizes and Dragapult gives up 1, so I'm willing to forgive. And Eternatus would be a garbage unplayable card were it not for Crobat V. Crobat V turns around and goes, hey Eternatus, here's your draw engine, now Eternatus is viable, and it's been a top deck in the game ever since. Well, Dragapult would not be viable because you would have to save some bench space for non-fusion Pokemon in order to use as a draw engine, were it not for Genesect. Genesect comes along, and it sits on your bench, gives you a phenomenal draw engine, and count as a fusion Pokemon on your bench to do extra damage with Dragapult. And if your opponent starts trying to go after Genesect on the bench, that means that you've just got your stage 2 and it's staying around and it's healthy and life is good. And I know 180 damage is a little bit low. I understand this. I know that you're not getting a one-hit KO on Pokemon V if you're not hitting for weakness, though you are hitting for a great weakness here. And I know that you're going to be two-hit KOing a lot, and maybe that's not good enough, but single price, single energy, that's pretty nice. Not to mention the fact that the biggest downside with Stage 2s is, oh my goodness, I need a good draw engine. Well, good news, Genesect will be your draw engine. And it's worth pointing out, let's pop those pre-evolutions back on the screen for just a moment. Oh look, they're fusion Pokemon. We knew they would be, that's the case with Single and Rapid Strike. So what that means is, I can be using Genesect as a great draw engine from turn 1 going first. If I can bench a bunch of fusion Pokemon, and like I've said, if you're playing stuff like Genesect and Dragapult, your entire deck needs to be fusion Pokemon. I can start playing Genesect with stuff like Quick Ball, and I can start drawing up immediately. It is going to make Stage 2s like Dragapult so much more consistent. You are not going to struggle to get Dragapult in play like you would some others. And now, when you're bearing in mind the consistency here, and you're talking about 150 HP, single price, single energy, 180 damage, that altogether looks pretty good. Yes, I'd like more HP. Yes, I'd like to do more damage. But again, you do not have to just play a Dragapult Genesect deck. Both of those work beautifully with any fusion Pokemon, so that works absolutely fine by me. Genesect is one of the easiest 5 Wassies I have ever given. And I know we've seen some really good cards lately that I've given 5 Wassies to and said similar things, and I know it only works for fusion Pokemon, but in the context of a fusion deck, you basically don't get better than Genesect. Seriously, in a fusion deck, and again, I've got to say, in a fusion deck, Genesect is giving me Claydol vibes. And there has not been a card since Claydol which has given me Claydol vibes. Now, Claydol was a stage 1 that worked in any deck, put 2 cards, or 1, underneath your deck, draw till you got 6 in hand. Here, it's a basic, which is good, but it's a 2-price Pokemon, and it's still drawing till you got 6, but only if you got a full bench of fusion Pokemon, and it's only for fusion decks. And I'm not saying Genesect is Claydol, but I am saying it's giving me Claydol vibes. If you're playing a fusion deck, and I think you may well be playing a fusion deck. Dragapult I'm giving between 4 and 5 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. Because again, single energy 180 with the consistency we've got. I am loving this Dragapult, ladies and gentlemen. I am absolutely excited. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.